Okay, so what is today? Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Mama is tired. But we're committed. This is day number 4. We're doing it. We're doing a thing. So I had it on my schedule that I wanted to talk about, money mistakes and things that I made. And we'll get to that. Like money things that I did up to this point that now I'm working to make better. I have good credit. I'm that's not the issue. It's just, things that you could have done, like, that moment back however many years ago when you saw something called Bitcoin and went, I should look into that one day. I'm gonna have to circle back to it, and you didn't circle back to it, or when your junior high school kid said, my teacher was talking to us about this company named Apple. Can we buy some stock? Like, how long ago was that? Almost 20 years. Ooh. So, you know, um, other things, just, your general, maybe I shouldn't have bought those shoes, but generally I'm pretty good about not doing too much. So it's not even that. I think it's just more like any other part of your life, listening to intuition and being open to opportunities when they happen and not letting it go by. And so today I'm going to talk about that. In a way, I am going to take a little vacay, and on my little vacay, I'm going to allow myself to do the things that I haven't allowed myself to do before. Like, mostly just rest. Like, this is one of those times that there's not an agenda, and I'm purposefully not having an agenda. I'm not making it an action-packed vacation. I'm just gonna go do what I feel like each day. And if that's lay at the beach or at the pool or in the bed looking at the ceiling or in a bathtub, whatever it is, I want it to just feel calm and peaceful and luxurious. And, I had to fight some urges today that I realize is part of why I'm doing this whole thing in the first place. So, like when you are a producer and you're a hard worker and you get rewarded with more work, usually, right? And people depend on you to be that one that does the thing and be that one that solves the problem and be that one that comes early and stays late and all of the things that get you rewarded with more work and more stress, and someone else maybe get promoted, and someone else trying to take your shine, or all of those things that can tend to happen, especially to some of us more than others. But I knew it was going to be gone for this window of time, not even that many days, but there's a lot of pressure from folks at work to tie up every loose end and set up this and set up that to make it smooth for them while I'm gone. And I felt like I really wanted to set people up for success. And then on the other hand, I'm like, well, maybe it also wouldn't hurt for you to feel what I do in a day, so that maybe, I don't know if it would cause you to appreciate it more or not. Who knows, right? But I manage a lot of people, and a lot of people depend on me. And because we're in healthcare, there's safety concerns and things like that. So I always do want to make sure that I leave things in with as little confusion as possible, as clear direction as possible. And but at the same time, I also want to and should be able to expect that adult people can figure certain things out. So I'm gonna go have a good time. And I doubt the place is gonna burn down while I'm gone, but it's one of those where you get to a certain point in your life and you recognize you could turn yourself inside out, working like a field hand slave, or just, working like a dog. And if you have that stroke that, your doctor told you don't have, people would walk over your cold, dead body and, say, oh, that sure is sad. Let's get another one. Come on. You got to fill that spot. Let's keep moving. Let's keep making that money or whatever it is. And so you got to get to a point where you save yourself. And, I think there's a lot of people that are at that moment in their life right now. I don't know if it's our age or if it's the time we're living in, or just recognizing that there's so much more to life than, trading time for money. And, there's so many other different ways to do it. I feel some obligation to, while I'm working at whatever job I'm in, whatever career I'm in, I'm always going to give it 110%, really more than that, be honest, because that's just my personality. And I wouldn't feel good about it if I didn't. I wouldn't feel like I'm reaching my full potential. But at the same time, I've also realized that I definitely have to give it my all, my 110, 120, 150, 170% during a window of time, but it can't be all day, all night, every day, weekends, nights, holidays, on vacation, etc. So I'm going to do my best to unplug from my, main gig. I'll visit with you guys while I'm on vacation, and maybe I'll show you some pretty stuff if you want to see. But I'm going to try to get some daylight. I want to feel the sun on my skin. I want to put my toes in the sand. I want to feel the water on me. I'm a water baby. But, interesting, I have to remember what the name was called, but it's like you go by what your birth month is or birth year and a couple of other things, and it tells you whether you're wood or fire or this or that, and the meanings that go along with it. And it was interesting because I'm wood by that scale, but I would have thought I'd be water just because I feel like I'm a water baby. So anyway, I got a couple swimsuits packed, and I'm going to see about maybe taking some hikes, maybe taking some swims for sure, and spending some time doing some more dreaming, like letting the creativity come to me. When you have that moment of peace and quiet and calm, and so you can clear some of the clutter out of your brain and let the creativity come back. So I'm looking forward to that too. Maybe I'll, lay around or read a good book. I don't know. Unfortunately for me, I'm playing catch up on my vacations because the majority of my adult life, I just worked. I've worked since I'm 14. My first job, oh my gosh, was in a movie theater at the West Side Pavilion, and people in LA would know what that is. And I think it's called the Westfield whatever now. But there was a movie theater there, and it was like they showed a lot of foreign films and art films and, not all the mainstream stuff. And the way that mall was set up, the movie theater was on the top floor, and there was parking that even included on the rooftop parking. So at night, sometimes they would have screenings of other films besides what was playing for the regular mainstream audience. And it was also one of the places where they would screen the movies for the Academy Awards. So the people that were members would come, which was, actors, producers, directors, etc. It's very LA, I know. And come into the mall, drive up, and you could park on the roof and come down the escalator, and nobody would even ever know you were in the mall. The mall would be closed. And so they'd come and see screenings of the movies so they could vote for who they wanted to get the Academy Awards. So, my 14-year-old work permit job was at this theater. And when I tell you, I did everything from selling tickets to selling concessions to cleaning the bathrooms, cleaning the theaters. A lot of weird things happen in movie theaters when the lights go out, by the way. And I learned that I never wanted to eat that nacho cheese that you have at all of those fairs, movie theaters, etc. Those machines are nasty and they don't clean them. And the cheese comes in a bag and you just pour it in and heat it up and oh my gosh. But despite all of that, it was a cool experience to, learn all of the different aspects of that business, meet a lot of people, and most of the people were very nice. I was also surprised at how short most actors are, with the exception of a couple. Chevy Chase was super tall. But then like the Dustin Hoffmans and other folks are very, they're short. But something you might not have known too, most like TV sets are built at 3/4 scale. So people don't look so short in those sets because the sets are kind of smallish if you're there in person. But anyway, that was my first job. I did telemarketing for a minute, and that was wild, honey. That was wild. People of all walks of life, and a lot of times it was people that probably couldn't have gotten a straight job, that's what they call it at the time, like a regular gig because of, what they looked like or whatever. I think that was my first time too. I was still a teenager. That was probably my first time being aware of meeting a trans person. The supervisor was, I think, transitioning at that time and would kind of come to work dressed kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that depending on the day, but had perfect set of really nice nails done, always wore dangle earrings, and I probably, this was before all the pronouns and things were being taught to people. And so at that time, this person went by he during the day and she at night, and but wore her perfume, which I think was like Giorgio Beverly Hills or something. And I remember the perfume for whatever reason. Some things make a memory, but there were like elderly senior people and people that had various physical issues or whatnot, but might have like a voice like butter on the phone. But if you did ever do any telemarketing, you get hung up on a lot, you get cussed out a lot, and you're around an interesting crew of people. I didn't stay long. I didn't stay long. It was motivation to go on and get through UCLA, if nothing else. But I do remember one of the campaigns that we did was for PBS, and I liked that. I liked that one a lot. And people were kinder when you called them and asked them if they wanted to donate to PBS or do a membership or renew their membership. And I remember thinking, I like these PBS people. Those are my people. But anyway, fast forward through that, and I don't know how many more jobs, and just working. Can you get the hint? I work a lot. I still work a lot. A lot of times I had 2 gigs. And so time just went by. I was just grinding, taking care of people, my kids, my mom, like I think I told you guys that. Some other folks that sometimes I have to help a little bit, and trying to reach goals, and being able to do things for my kid, let this one have a horse and have that experience. It's an expensive hobby. And, music lessons, dance lessons, all the things that make well-rounded kids, and, learning some languages and this and that. And so, and sending the one that wanted to go on some trips. But sometimes my money allowed for that child to go, but not for me to go too. And my other child didn't want to go at the time, but now he's game. So thankfully, he wants to get out more, which is good. I think it's good for him too. And so we're going to go. And we're going to have a good time and see something new that we haven't seen. And I am so looking forward to it. So, wish me well. Hope it goes fun. The last time we were traveling was for my daughter's wedding, and it was during the government shutdown, and we weren't sure if we were going to get there and get back, really. But we did, thankfully, barely, before some things did slow down and some flights got canceled. So God was on our side for that one for sure. And a few friends. And, it was just that vacation. I really wouldn't call it a vacation because Mommy was also the planner of the wedding. And, just wanting everything to go smoothly for your baby, right? And so, which it did. Even though it rained, it was still beautiful, and actually she likes the rain, so it worked out. Rain's supposed to be good luck for your wedding too, right? So, or for your marriage, and the wedding's only one day. So I didn't really vacation. I was just making sure everything went like it was supposed to. So this one, I'm like, you guys can come along. The kids are coming along, but Mama is going to do what Mama wants to do. And like what we've been talking about so far, it's going to include some radical relaxation. That's the term, I don't know if anybody else is using it, but I bought the domain and whatnot. So radical relaxation is what I'm going to work on to save my life. And I know some of you all need that too. I see it like on the people's Instagram feeds, and they're like, I have to reclaim my peace. I have to reclaim my calm. I have to stop feeling guilty about if I'm not, being hyper productive all the time. And, I know what you really have to do is not ever answer every phone call, every text message, doom scroll, all of those things. And maybe, be somewhere, what do they say, sipping your tea and minding your business, maybe moisturizing a little bit. And remembering who you are. I'm looking forward to that. I have a very good sense of who I am, don't get me wrong. But I know that I'm so many things. And I want to experience more parts of me that way. And I think you have to get somewhere and get quiet, be mindful, meditate, whatever it is. It was interesting too. I actually, it's Wednesday, so I usually listen to a Wednesday night Bible study on YouTube. And tonight the pastor was talking about a number of things for, keys to success in 2026. Everybody's still talking about their beginning of the year, changes and, words and thoughts and different things. And in this case, one of the things that he mentioned was meditating. And I thought that was awesome because there is so much power in meditating. And he was talking about meditating on the word, which, yes, just full stop, yes. But it made me think about so many people that want to say something negative, like about so many things, or call it unholy, or, I'm in a current debate with a close friend of mine who I love, who, really wants me to not do yoga. And really wants me to not participate in my sorority that I am a 3rd generation member of, and my daughter is a 4th generation member of. And, because somehow she's convinced that, we're going to hell in a handbasket, whatever, I don't know. But, what I know is meditation for me allows me the space to pray and to hear, to listen, to discern. It's not about just clearing my mind to nothingness. It's clearing the space and the clutter so I can hear the best stuff. And I think that I really want people not to miss out on the opportunity to be able to do that for themselves. I mean, if it's your bag, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. But for me, it's helpful. And, I think as for other activities that I do, for me personally, my experience with my sorority, and I'm not wearing my sorority colors, is philanthropy. It's sistership, sisterhood. It's mentorship and scholarships and, food donations and heart walks and all kinds of things that it's community advocacy. It's a lot of things. And networking that can't be beat. And so, everything's not for everybody, but I think that people should do more research about what would work for them, be more open to all sorts of things. That's some of what we've been talking about, right? Different modalities to help you with your health, with your mental health, with your fitness, with your calm, with your peace, with your social life, with your home environment, whatever it might be. Just, being open to finding some things that you may not have been exposed to before, or you may not fully understand, but research it. And, it's just like trying a new restaurant. You may find a whole genre of food you didn't know you loved. I didn't know I loved Ethiopian food till I had it. And then I was like, yes, that. I didn't know I would like sashimi and whatnot, until I tried it. And then I'm like, yes, every day, yes. So, if you haven't tried yoga, I think it's an excellent way to stretch. For me, and the way my back is set up, and for me, and the way my stress is set up, it's a good thing. And I think that socializing, finding your groups here, finding your tribe, is good for you also. So my family tribe and I are going to hit the road and see something new and make a memory or 2 or 5. Hopefully eat some good food. And try not to think about all of the crazy that's happening right now. It was funny. I'm going to wrap this up, but I was scrolling for a little bit earlier and I came across a post that I had seen before, and it popped up again today. And I'm sure, it's probably reposted because of all the things that were going on, but beautiful woman who was talking about how, we should be able to figure out ways to replace our income without having to do your 9 to 5, basically. But not just for your happiness, but for like your safety in case you need to bounce, right? And then aside from that, she went into a long list of the things that you should have in case you need to bounce. And, it's the times we live in, I guess, when you start to think in those terms. But I think being prepared is good too. I'm not a prepper, but, especially for us ladies, if we're going to travel, make sure you got all your documents in order, make sure you got some cash, make sure you got some cards, make sure you got some copies of your stuff. And, but I also don't believe in being afraid. I think that you have to live your life, and some of the things that happen are meant to make you stay small and stay in fear and not try, not travel. My mom didn't want to travel out of the country. She was nervous about it. And I really had always wanted to do it. And, so I'm catching up on that. I waited for a while, I want to do certain things with a partner. Maybe it'll be a romantic trip or whatever. And now I'm like, you know what? I would love to still do that, and I'm sure I will, because I know he's going to show up. Because I mean, I'm cute, whatever. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm not going to not travel waiting for this person who may or may not show up in the time frame I want. I'm going to go get it. And so I would just encourage you to work on what it is that you said you wanted to do, to make whatever change you need to make to get a different result. And for me, that includes going and taking the trip that I deferred so many times to take care of this person or this job or this project or whatever. I'm still going to be grinding and hustling, but I'm going to work in a little more of what feels like me. And I hope you do too. I think that is another way to add more beauty to your life. And at that, I would just say, let's have another conversation tomorrow, same time, right? And like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. I'd appreciate it. All right, I'll see you tomorrow from wherever I'll be. Bye.